SMT Nation, we are back. Nation, in this video, we're going to take a look at this customer satisfaction survey. This, in my opinion, is the most important type of consumer information. You know, a lot can be made about like network performance, and a lot can be made about speed tiers and products and services. But the most important thing is if the customer is satisfied, then that means it's the best service, right? If the, you know, the base of that company is the most satisfied amongst all their competitors. So I don't think it matters the type of technology, whether it's fiber, fixed wireless. This is the most telling thing. Is the company doing something right? The most important thing. Satisfied customers. Remember, satisfied customers typically don't leave. That doesn't make any sense. So they stay. So as customers are satisfied, that is an indication that company X, company Y is doing things right. All right, so I'll be sure to link this for you guys here. It's from Telecompetitor. The article is from Laura. We'll take a look at all the details from it. Let's see who's doing a nice job here. All right, Comcast XFinity has moved up. Looks like they are the most improved provider in terms of customer satisfaction. They went from 16th to 5th. That is one hell of a jump. Bravo to Comcast XFinity. I'm not sure what they did, but when you get that type of a bump, they probably overhauled some really important, sensitive customer, elements that were really important to customers. All right, so they join Starlink, Google Fiber, T-Mobile, and Verizon as the top 5 national internet providers. Now, I'm surprised to see Verizon in the top 5, with the exception Fios. I think Fios is what's really bringing them up there, right? Not surprised by T-Mobile being there. Google Fiber, but I'm kind of surprised about Starlink. And actually, no, I take that back. I'm not surprised. I'll explain why. The reason why I think Starlink is ranked so high at number 1, and actually, I'm going to scroll down here for you guys. All right, so pictured on the left here, Starlink, number 1. Top 10 providers and their overall customer satisfaction score, 94% for Starlink. The typical customer that takes Starlink service, like, didn't have an internet provider before, didn't have an option for connectivity. It may have been HughesNet. It may have been like some other horrible legacy satellite provider, or maybe they're coming out of like copper DSL that's really slow and doesn't really allow them to do what they need, right? So that's why I think the customer satisfaction is so high for Starlink. Typically, Google Fiber, you know, people are very pleased with it. They pay very competitive prices. Typically, Google Fiber is the best, most affordable service of fiber service, right? So I'm not surprised there. And T-Mobile's kind of like with the Un-carrier, and then T-Mobile's 5G home internet has gone into rural America and penetrated suburbia and these places where there aren't a lot of competitors, so their customers are very happy to have them. So big ups to them. Xfinity cracking the top 4 at 80%, and then Verizon at 79%. Again, I think Verizon, the story there is it's Fios. People love Fios. It's fairly priced. It's super reliable, and they've been doing it forever. They hit with Fios. The wireless, I think, is a different story. But anyways, rounding out the bottom of the top 10, bottom 5, Metronet at 77. Remember, they're being acquired by T-Mobile. Proposed. Armstrong Cable coming in at 73%. Not bad. AT&T at 73. So this is kind of a surprise, right? You would think, oh, AT&T fiber, it's so fantastic. But you don't get just AT&T fiber in this. You're also going to get AT&T's crappy DSL service, which they're decommissioning and they're shutting people off, and they're going to move towards internet air. That number should actually go up in the future. Spectrum, a big cable provider, coming in at 71%. Interesting to see Spectrum and Comcast being so far apart, right? Xfinity at 80%, Spectrum at 71%. And then I've never heard of Sparklight. I don't know who that is. Came in with a 70%. T-Mobile, Google Fiber, Starlink, Verizon, ranking in the top 5 for overall customer satisfaction in last year's awards survey as well. It says here the 5 leading internet providers with the top customer support teams: Google Fiber at 82%, Starlink at 80%, T-Mobile at 78%, Armstrong at 76%, Verizon at 74%. The survey showed Spectrum, Comcast, and AT&T finished in the middle of the results for best customer support. AT&T dipped below the study's 70% approval threshold for the second consecutive year. Okay, so some work to be done there for those providers. It says here Starlink's high base price tag knocked it out of first place, although not by much. Its 77% approval mark was only 3% behind Google Fiber and a point from T-Mobile. Okay, so, pricing matters, obviously, but the survey kind of shows servicing your customers with, like customer care and customer support matters too. Looking for some other mentions here. Anything else we should know? AT&T ranked 8th in overall customer satisfaction in the CableTV.com survey awards. It led fiber broadband providers in the ACS index, or ACSI, with a score of 80 out of 100. See, it's the fiber piece. Okay, so here's what I'm taking from this. If you have good service, good networking, and quality performance, you can rank high in this. But what is actually separating them is probably customer support and customer care. So you can be in the top 10, but where you are in the top 10 depends on your customer support. So having a good network might get you into the top 10, but taking good care of your customers and responding to their needs, whatever they are, moves you up into the top 5. Looks like, and I would just guess, customers that have Starlink are going to keep them and have them for a long time. Same thing with Google Fiber, T-Mobile, XFinity, and Verizon. They're going to get the service. They're going to keep it as long as it stays the same. It's going to be fantastic for them. Now, once you start moving down this list, those scores start to dip. Those are the companies that are going to be more prone to churn. Churn defined as customer retention, right? Because, as customers churn, they leave, they go somewhere else. So whether it's Sparklight in this case, Spectrum, AT&T, Armstrong, as you go down further in that list, those customers are more prone to leave and shop around and look for other options. And again, this study is a combination of things. It's services, it's network experience, reliability is probably in there, right? Price satisfaction. And most telling, I think, is what shapes the top 5 is the customer support piece, the customer care. The ones at the top are always looking to make sure that they retain their customers and are willing to go above and beyond the others. That's what this boils down to. And it may mean you have to put more money into the customer care piece. It's the cost of doing business. If you don't respond to the customer needs, they leave. And I think the measure of a good company is not acquiring customers. The measure of a good company is keeping customers. The top 5 on this list are doing it. Anyways, do you guys have any of these services from any of these companies? If you do, what do you have? How much money are you spending with them? Which services do you have? How long have you had them? Maybe tell me if you plan on staying for a long time and how things are going. Sound off in the comment section below. You are the voice of the people, the SMT Nation. Let your voice be heard. Like and share our videos. Subscribe if you're new here. Turn on the bell notifications icon to never miss an upload from the SMT. And we'll see you guys on the next video.